Seoul experienced a devastating earthquake, and the entire city has turned into a barren wasteland. People are struggling to live in this harsh environment. Water resources are extremely scarce. They are filtering contaminated water into barely drinkable water. Ji-won is out hunting and spots a crocodile. He immediately takes cover behind a car, igniting a cloth, setting the arrow on fire, and aiming at the beast. He shoots the crocodile's head. The crocodile struggles for a moment and then goes down. Ji-won approaches, thinking it's dead, but the crocodile is still alive and begins to attack him. He shoots another arrow, but it misses. Ji-won quickly gets inside the car, but the crocodile breaks through the window. At this critical moment, Nam-san arrives, pulls the crocodile out and cuts it in half. Returning to the village, they chop the crocodile into chunks, and people would use essential supplies to trade for meat. One woman attempts to trade jewelry for the entire tail, but in the current environment, it holds no value whatsoever. Suna and her grandmother arrive, and Nam-san has been taking care of them. He gives them the best piece of meat, and Suna gives him a drawing. A vehicle intrudes into the village, and a gang starts abducting people randomly, injuring those who resist. The leader notices Suna and attempts to forcibly take her, pushing her grandmother to the ground. Ji-won tries to save her, but he is outnumbered and gets beaten. Finally, Nam-san, unable to watch any longer, steps in and with a few moves subdues the gangsters. The leader attempts to attack Nam-san but is instead restrained. Nam-san learns that their boss is Tiger, whom he knew from before. He also notices the clean water they carry and asks where it came from. The leader mentions an apartment. Upon hearing Nam-san's name, the group hastily flees in fear. Nam-san and Ji-won return to their residence and find a group of neatly dressed people talking to Suna. The woman introduces herself as a teacher. They invite Suna and her grandmother to their apartment, where there is clean water, food, medical facilities, and military protection. They are looking for families with teenagers to protect, as teenagers are the hope for the future. Considering that her grandmother needs a better environment, they decide to go. At night, Suna and her grandmother follow the teacher on the way to the apartment. They come across another group of their own people who have recruited families with teenagers from another village. The two groups join and continue walking. Suna also meets Juyi, and they envision a better life once they reach the apartment. Suna's grandma is exhausted and unable to walk any further. The teacher suggests taking Suna's grandmother and another old man to a nearby medical station for now. The others continue to move forward. Not long after, they see Sergeant Kwan and the car waiting for them. Suna finds it strange that her grandmother was sent away when the car is so close. The teacher assures her that they will send a car to pick up her grandmother tomorrow. Suna notices a strange lump behind Sergeant Kwan's ear. The two old people are taken to a large pit. The old man is pushed down, and Suna's grandmother is also killed. This is witnessed by Ji-won and Nam-san, who are out hunting. The two men notice them and immediately open fire, leading to an intense fight. However, Nam-san is shocked to discover that no matter how many times he kills the two men, they continue to come back to life. Ji-won is frightened. He leads one of them into a trap, but the man sacrifices his foot and continues to attack Ji-won. A woman shows up and saves them. Her name is Yoon-ho, a former Air Force sergeant. She reveals that after the earthquake, they discovered an apartment building that didn't collapse, with a clean water source. Along with other survivors, they rebuilt the community. A doctor arrived and joined them. At first, everything seemed fine, but later, Yoon-ho discovered that he had begun secretly conducting human experiments using children. Yoon-ho confronted the doctor, but discovered that everyone else knew and obeyed the doctor. Sergeant Kwan then shot one of his subordinates, and after a moment, the soldier came back to life. The doctor claims that only his experiment can ensure human survival. Yoon-ho refuses to be a part of it, and gunfire ensues. Yoon-ho manages to escape through the window. Yoon-ho is on her way to the apartment to rescue her subordinates and the residents. Nam-san and Ji-won, aware that Suna is in danger, have agreed to help her. The three of them approach Tiger to inquire about information regarding the apartment. Tiger recognizes Nam-san as a past enemy and orders his gangsters to attack. However, none of them are a match for Nam-san. Ji-won opens the cage and rescues the hostage. With Yoon-ho's assistance, they capture a few gangsters. Nam-san asks them about the source of water, and when there is no answer, he knocks them out. Eventually, Tiger confesses that the apartment demands children in exchange for water and only allows entry on delivery days. Suna and the group arrive at the apartment. The place is guarded by soldiers, and they cultivate their own vegetables, utilizing solar power for energy supply. All the residents welcome them. The doctor greets the newcomers, assuring them that they are safe here. Soldiers distribute clean water to everyone. Suna asks for an extra bottle for her grandmother and saves it for later. In her assigned room, Suna discovers not only food and clean clothes, but also running water. Everyone gathers downstairs. Suna inquires about her grandmother, and the teacher tells her she will arrive soon. In this apartment, the doctor ranks children based on their scores. Higher-ranked parents get better supplies and rooms. Later, the teacher informs the parents that only their children can go to the 8th floor. Parents are taken to the basement, where they filter water all day and are not allowed to see their children. Suna and Juye are taken to a classroom where the students appear lifeless. After introducing themselves, Suna sits down and notices a scar behind each student's ear, finding the place strange. Soldiers give food and water to each student, and the doctor brainwashes them that he is working hard for everyone to have a better future. Juye is excited and volunteers to assist in research. Suna asks about her grandmother again, and the teacher explains that her grandmother is sick and needs treatment. She will see her in a few days. The teacher urges Suna to drink the water, but she doesn't drink it. Sergeant Kwon injects the green serum and the lump behind his ear wriggles. In the middle of the night, while everyone is asleep, Suna sneaks out of her room. She enters a room, which turns out to be the doctor's office. She discovers a notebook recording human experiments, all of which have failed. In another room, she finds Juye lying on an experiment bed connected to a tube behind her ear. Meanwhile, in the basement, due to Juye's parents demanding to see their daughter, the doctor has no choice but to bring them to the lab. Suna quickly hides. Juye's parents are terrified when they see their daughter and demand an explanation from the doctor. The doctor claims that it is for the greater good. He then shows them his own daughter in a glass box, only left with the upper body and a pulsating heart. After seeing this horrifying scene, Juye's parents attempt to wake her, causing her to have a seizure and die. The doctor becomes furious and stabs the father with a surgical knife. Sergeant Kwon shoots the mother who is trying to escape. Suna is in shock and is found by the doctor. Suna is strapped down to the bed. The doctor explains that the substance from the teenager's pituitary gland, when activated by the water they consume, allows his experiment to continue. After connecting the tube behind her ear, the experiment commences with the push of a button. Namsan and the others arrive at the apartment. The sentry is on high alert since it's not a delivery day and is about to check the car. Suddenly, Namsan snatches the sentry's gun, and all the soldiers start firing. He drives through the gate, crashing into the lobby. The three of them start a gunfight, taking out as many soldiers as they can. They then head to the basement to rescue her subordinates, opening the door with gunfire, only to discover that her subordinates have turned into zombies. They are left with no choice but to engage in battle and finally take down all the zombies. More soldiers arrive, blocking their way. Namsan hears the sound of a grenade's safety pin being pulled. Seizing the moment, he eliminates all the soldiers and acquires their weapons. More soldiers are coming. They split up and Namsan fires shots at the incoming soldiers. When he runs out of bullets, he wields his machete in solo combat until he defeats everyone. Afterward, he questions the parents about Suna's whereabouts. Yunho instructs Jiwon to go find Suna while providing cover from behind. Sergeant Kwon shows up, and they engage in hand-to-hand combat. Yunho skillfully evades Kwon's attacks, seizing opportunities to stab a knife into his eye, revealing his lizard-like skin underneath. Injected with the serum, Sergeant Kwon gains the upper hand, eventually throwing her off the balcony. Jiwon searches through each room until he eventually finds the classroom. He kills the soldier, and then forces the teacher at gunpoint to take him to Suna. On their way, they come across Sergeant Kwon. Namsan arrives as well and instructs Jiwon to go ahead. An intense fight ensues between Namsan and Kwon, both displaying exceptional combat skills. Ultimately, Namsan throws Kwon out of the window, knowing he won't die from the fall. Namsan then forces Kwon's neck onto the broken glass, decapitating him. In the lab, the doctor injects himself with the serum, but experiences side effects and vomits. Suna reveals she hasn't drunk the water. He is about to kill Suna when Jiwon enters. Threatened by the doctor, Jiwon lowers her gun and is attacked by a soldier from behind. The doctor instructs the teacher and the soldier to put his daughter in a suitcase. He grabs all the serums. When they leave, they encounter Namsan, who uses the soldier's gun to shoot the teacher and then kills the soldier. The teacher pleads for the doctor's help. However, the doctor tosses a grenade and leaves through another door. Jiwon rushes to protect Suna in time, and the entire floor explodes. Yunho regains consciousness. Namsan rushes into the fire and rescues Jiwon and Suna. Outside, the doctor is surrounded by angry parents who destroy his serums and start to beat him up. The doctor's face begins to change, frightening everyone as they back away. He picks up a gun, shooting at everyone until he runs out of bullets. Only then does he realize he has shot his suitcase, and the liquid is leaking. He opens it to find his daughter is dead for real. His face becomes even more horrifying, and he starts to vomit. As he reaches for the gun to shoot, Namsan arrives in time and shoots him in the head.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out our other videos for more exciting content.